The Cleveland Browns just dropped a heartbreaker, 31-29, to the 1-11 Tennessee Titans. Let that sink in for a second. 1-11.
Back to reality, my friends. This is what we're used to. And I'm smiling, but it's only because I don't want to cry. Today was straight up ugly. The game, the loss, the weather, the special teams, the whole damn thing. Oh, and speaking of ugly, did I mention that 4th and 1 that Kevin Stefanski tried to get cute on their end of the field? Embarrassing, shameful, terrible, and a bunch of words I can't say here on a news station, okay, even on the internet.
I'm going to say it again. Kevin Stefanski must be fired. I'm going to say it again and again and again. Kevin Stefanski did not want Shedeur Sanders, didn't even want him in the 5th round. Kevin Stefanski has done everything in his power to keep Shedeur Sanders from succeeding in Cleveland as a 5th round pick against all odds. You just couldn't stand to see Shedeur tie the game. You couldn't stand to have to stand up there after the game and answer questions about what you've been doing to Shedeur, how you have been sabotaging, how you've been trying to stunt the kid's growth.
There's no way anybody in the Browns locker room likes playing under Kevin Stefanski. Stefanski's terrible. Guys, look at this.
The Titans had won one game all season. Cleveland was sitting pretty with a 4.5-point spread at home. And they still managed to blow it in the most Cleveland way imaginable.
A lot of people called this the toilet bowl, by the way. Yeah, or the tank bowl.
This game was a clinic in how to shatter a young quarterback's confidence. We watched a veteran head coach show the entire league he'd rather take an L than watch his 5th-round pick light it up. And the proof? It's so obvious, so glaring, so undeniable that even die-hard Stefanski supporters are heading for the exits. Let's break down what Shedeur Sanders just did. The kid nobody believed in, the 5th-round steal who dropped because scouts overthought it and front offices played it safe. The quarterback Kevin Stefanski never wanted in the first place. 23 completions on 42 attempts for 364 yards and 3 passing touchdowns. Add 29 rushing yards and another score on the ground. A 97.7 passer rating against the Titans defense that came ready to play.
Shedeur Sanders just played by far his best game as a pro. He just threw for 364 yards and 3 touchdowns and led the Browns in rushing and scored a rushing touchdown from 7 yards.
This wasn't some conservative game manager outing. This wasn't a rookie just avoiding mistakes and letting his team win around him. Sanders dominated. He was dropping absolute dimes all over First Energy Stadium. Touch passes that landed perfectly in receivers' breadbaskets, frozen ropes threading needle after needle between defenders, money throws when the Browns desperately needed a spark. The kid played like a legitimate franchise quarterback, like a top 10 pick, like the solution Cleveland has been desperately hunting since 1999. And Kevin Stefanski coached like Sanders was kryptonite. The opening drive was a catastrophe. Tennessee returns the kickoff to their 15. First snap from scrimmage, -4 yards. Next play, Sanders gets obliterated in the end zone by 2 Titans pass rushers who came through completely free. False start penalty, 4th and 18 from the 7-yard line. You could feel the safety coming from a mile away. 7-0 Titans before the Browns even showed a pulse. 14-3. The Browns were getting punched in the mouth, and Sanders had to play hero ball from the jump. But you know what? He did it. He kept fighting. He kept slinging. He kept making plays that had no business being made by a 5th-round rookie in his 8th career start.
That's a hell of a pass. That is a hell of a pass. That is real good touch, and he put it where only his receiver could catch it.
The Browns' defense was getting demolished. 184 rushing yards to a 1-win team. Tony Pollard was running through Cleveland's front 7 like they were traffic cones. The Titans were controlling the line of scrimmage, controlling the clock, controlling the tempo. And yet Sanders kept bringing Cleveland back, kept giving them chances, kept showing everyone watching that he's different. Jerry Jeudy, who's been invisible all season, suddenly remembered he's an NFL receiver. 3 catches, 76 yards, and a touchdown because Sanders was putting the ball exactly where it needed to be.
Guess who decided to show up today? Jerry Jeudy. Jerry Jeudy with an accidental good game. 3 for 76, 1 touchdown. I don't give a F. He's still a Jag. As Steve Smith said.
Harold Fandon Jr., the rookie, went for 8 catches and 114 yards. The kid was creating opportunities, and Sanders was capitalizing on every single one. And then came the 80-yard drive. 7 plays of absolute surgical precision. Sanders picked apart the Titans' secondary like he'd been studying their defense for months. Completion after completion after completion, moving the chains, getting into the end zone.
Just led an 80-yard drive in 7 plays to put them within striking distance, 31-29.
And he capped it off with a gorgeous fade route to Fandon for 7 yards and 6 points. A rainbow throw that made scouts across the league grab their phones and start texting the general managers about how badly they screwed up, letting this kid fall to the 5th round. 31-29, down by 2, 1 2-point conversion away from tying the game and probably winning it in overtime because Sanders was cooking and the Titans looked tired and Cleveland had all the momentum in the world.
I don't know, the way Shedeur was operating, they surely would have won the game somehow, some way, because that's what Shedeur does.
Sanders had just thrown for 364 yards. He'd run for a touchdown earlier from 7 yards out. He'd shown he could execute in the red zone. He'd shown he could make big throws under pressure. He'd shown everything you could possibly want from your quarterback. So Kevin Stefanski pulled him off the field. Wildcat formation. For a 2-point conversion, with the game on the line, with your quarterback playing the best game of his young career, with the entire season hanging in the balance.
Again, for the potential tying 2-point conversion, going with the Wildcat, it was a disaster. After Shedeur had shown again and again, he's the answer in the red zone for the Cleveland Browns.
Judkins took the direct snap and ran straight into a brick wall of Titans defenders. No pitch, no misdirection, no creativity whatsoever. Just a failed run that left 60,000 Browns fans sitting in stunned silence, wondering if their head coach just intentionally threw the game away. The conspiracy theories aren't even theories anymore. They're just facts at this point. Stefanski didn't want Sanders in the draft, reportedly didn't want him in the 5th round. And now he's out here making decisions that look like active sabotage. Like he'd rather lose and prove he was right about Sanders not being the guy than win and admit he was wrong about the kid's talent.
Kevin Stefanski did not want Shedeur Sanders, didn't even want him in the 5th round. Kevin Stefanski has done everything in his power to keep Shedeur Sanders from succeeding in Cleveland as a 5th round pick against all odds.
Let's compare Sanders to Cam Ward real quick. Cam Ward, the #1 overall pick, the guy who was supposed to be the generational talent, the quarterback that scouts were drooling over. 14 of 28 for 117 yards. Sanders threw for more than 3 times that yardage. Ward looked pedestrian. Sanders looked like a star.
Shedeur just completely outplayed Cam Ward. I'm going to say it again. I said it before the draft. The Tennessee Titans should have taken Shedeur Sanders #1 overall.
The 5th round pick absolutely embarrassed the 1st overall selection, and it wasn't even close.
I like Cam Ward. I love Shedeur Sanders. He's the whole package. He's playing for a sorry football team that played a sorry football game today, and Shedeur lifted them up out of the snow and nearly pulled it off by himself.
Tennessee's game plan was simple. Run the ball, control the clock, don't turn it over. Basic football. And it worked because Cleveland's defense played like they'd never seen a running play before.
The Cleveland Browns, when I least expected it, allowed 184 rushing yards to the 1-11 Tennessee Titans in Cleveland. 184 rush yards. You're going to lose at home if you do that, and they finally did.
But even with the defense getting shredded, even with the Titans dominating time of possession, Sanders kept his team in it. He made throws that changed the momentum. He led drives that put points on the board. He did everything a franchise quarterback is supposed to do. And his reward? Watching from the sideline as his coach ran a failed Wildcat play that cost them the game. It's maddening. It's infuriating. It's the most Cleveland Browns thing that has ever happened. And that's saying something for a franchise that has perfected the art of snatching defeat from the jaws of victory.
There's no way anybody in the Browns locker room likes playing under Kevin Stefanski.
The message this sends is clear-cut. We don't trust our quarterback. We don't believe in our future. We'd rather lose with a gimmick play than win with our rookie. And make no mistake, Cleveland should have won this game. They were the better team. They had the better quarterback. They had every advantage except one: competent coaching. The analytics crowd would try to defend this. They'll pull out their charts and their percentages and their expected value calculations. But you know what? Football isn't played on a spreadsheet. Football is about momentum and confidence and trusting your best players in the biggest moments. Sanders was hot. Sanders was confident. Sanders was ready. And Stefanski said, nah, let's run wildcat.
My God. An 80-yard drive in 7 plays, second and goal at the 7. He throws the sweet little fade to fan it. It was a beautiful ball. 7 yards for a touchdown. And here we win again. He's been doing this to Shedeur again and again and again. They go wildcat. Why?
The Titans defenders were literally doing Sanders' signature celebration in the end zone after they scored earlier in the game. They were mocking him, showing him disrespect, making it personal. And Sanders responded by throwing for 364 yards and giving his team every opportunity to win. That's mental toughness. That's character. That's what franchise quarterbacks do when people doubt them. But his own head coach won't even give him the same respect that the opposing team's defenders gave him. At least they acknowledge he was good enough to mock. Stefanski treated him like he's not good enough to execute a 2-point conversion. Jimmy Haslam needs to make a decision tonight, right now. Does he want to be a losing franchise that cycles through coaches and quarterbacks forever? Or does he want to build around the talented young quarterback who just proved he belongs?
You know what, Jimmy Haslam, if I'm owning the Cleveland Browns, I'm walking in there tonight and firing his ass for the injustice he has wreaked on Shedeur Sanders again and again.
Because you can't do both. You can't keep Stefanski and develop Sanders. It's one or the other. And after the day, the choice should be obvious. Fire Kevin Stefanski. Not tomorrow, not next week, tonight. Walk into that locker room and tell him he's done. Tell him that what he did to Sanders today was unforgivable. Tell him that Cleveland is moving forward with their young quarterback and he's not invited to be part of that journey. Because Sanders deserves better. Browns fans deserve better. This franchise deserves better than a coach who'd rather protect his ego than win football games. The talent is there. The quarterback is there. The weapons are there. The only thing holding Cleveland back is the man calling the plays. And after today, after that wildcat disaster, after watching Sanders stand on the sideline while his team lost by the exact margin of that failed 2-point conversion, there's no more excuses left. Kevin Stefanski just coached his last game for the Cleveland Browns. He just doesn't know it yet. But after what we witnessed today, after that absolute betrayal of his young quarterback, he has to be gone. There's no coming back from this. There's no spinning this into a learning experience. There's no analytics chart that justifies what happened in those final minutes. Sanders is the future. Stefanski is the past. And it's time for Cleveland to finally make the right decision and choose the future over the coach who's been actively trying to sabotage it. 364 yards, 3 touchdown passes, a rushing touchdown, an 80-yard drive in 7 plays when his team needed it most, a beautiful fade route for 7 yards and 6 points, and his reward was watching a wildcat play fail and his season potentially slip away. That's the Kevin Stefanski era in Cleveland. That's what this franchise has become under his leadership. And after today, after this loss, after this decision, it's time to turn the page and let Shedeur Sanders cook without someone trying to burn down the kitchen every time he steps to the stove.